Welcome back, and we're about to take a look at a couple examples of the S&T method that Dr. Mike showed us in the video a few minutes ago. Now, this is a very simple method. The thing to remember about the S&T method, and that's kind of what I nicknamed it, is this. S always has to be greater than T to make this work out nicely. So that you don't want T and S to be reversed. As far as you don't want T to be larger than S because you'll get into negative numbers, and we don't want to get into negative numbers. So always pick S greater than T and make sure they do not have any common factors. So if you look at the back of your sheet, 17ST, here is the first problem on the back. Okay, don't worry about the problems at the very bottom that show the different figures of geometric figures. We'll be dealing with that in your next class. You're only going to try to do 3 and 4 on here just for practice. Okay, I'm going to do 1 and 2 with you, and we'll see how we do with it. So to use the S&T method to develop a Pythagorean triple, all you have to do is evaluate 3 different things. The first thing is 2ST, S squared minus T squared, and then S squared plus T squared. And of course, S squared plus T squared will give you probably the hypotenuse each time. It should give you the largest number. Okay, so for 2ST, here we go. So for 2ST, we would do 2 times 7 in problem number 1 times 3. And of course, if you work that out, that's 42, right? If you do S squared minus T squared, you will be doing 7 squared minus 3 squared, or 49 minus 9, which would be 40, all right? And for S squared plus T squared, you would be doing 7 squared plus 3 squared, which is 49 plus 9, which would be 58. Now let me stress, on the final exam, I will give you one of these problems and I will say to you, use the S&T method to determine a Pythagorean triple and prove to me that it does fit the rule of Pythagoras. All you have to do is put these answers, 42, 40, and 58, into the rule of Pythagoras and show me that you indeed do get a set of numbers that fit the rule of Pythagoras. It's that simple. All right, so I'm going to write the formula down. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. I'm going to let A be 42. Remember, I have to let the biggest number be the hypotenuse. I'm going to let B be 40. So I will square 40. And does that give me the same thing as when I square 58? So I usually put a question mark over this to see if it gives me what I want. Okay, so take your phone and determine what 42 squared is. I'm going to do it on my calculator over here. Okay, so 42 x squared, I believe, is 1764. I'm going to do 40 squared, which is 1600. And I also have to do 58 squared. So I do 58 x squared, and I get 3364. Now, if these two numbers add up to 3364, I know I have a Pythagorean triple that works. So if I add on my calculator 1764, and I add to it 1600, I get 3364. And since 3364 equals 3364, I know this checks out. So my Pythagorean triple is 40, 42, 58. These 3 numbers fit the rule of Pythagoras. Now, you don't necessarily have to remember this, but if you were to divide each of those numbers by 2, you would have 20, 21, and 29. Guess what? 20, 21, and 29 are also a Pythagorean triple. In other words, multiples of various numbers here that are Pythagorean triples will also be Pythagorean triples. You might remember that from high school. I don't know. Okay, so let's go on. Let's take a look and see if we got the right answers. I have the problem all worked out right here, and you can see we did get 3364 correctly. Okay, so let's go on. Let's try problem number 2. All I'm going to ask you to do is try to do problems 3 and 4 on the back of this sheet that we're working on right now to see if you can work this out. It's really a pretty simple process, but it just gives you good practice in using the rule of Pythagoras, which we are going to be spending more time with in your next visit with me on Thursday. So let's do number 2. Again, I'm going to write down, by the way, when you take the exam, I'm going to tell you the formulas you need to know for S and T. You don't have to memorize those, but you just have to be able to do the work. So here we go. We need 2st, we need s squared minus t squared, and we need s squared plus t squared. So for 2st, it'll be 2 times 11 times 8, and I believe that is 176. For s squared minus t squared, it should be 11 squared, right? Minus 8 squared, which would be, I believe, 121 minus 64. And for s squared plus t squared, it will be 11 squared plus 8 squared, which is 121 plus 64. If I put those together, I believe this is 185. Okay, whoop, I did it on the wrong one. This is 185, sorry about that. If I subtract those two, 121 minus 64 is equal to 57. Okay, so my Pythagorean triple appears to be 57, 176, 185. Let's see if it fits the rule of Pythagoras. So if I square 57, that's a squared. If I add to it the square of b, which is 176, that will be squared, do I indeed get 185 squared? All right, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to square 57. So when I do 57 squared on my calculator, I get 3249. When I do 176 on my calculator and square it, I get 3976. And when I square 185 on my calculator, I obtain 34,225. Are those two figures equal? Well, if I take 30,976 and I add to it 3249, I do obtain 34,225. Therefore, they are equal. So it checks out. I know I do indeed have a Pythagorean triple, and I made no errors. As you can see, this is pretty straightforward. So I'd like you to practice problems 3 and 4 on the back of this sheet, please, at home by yourself there, and be ready for the next class. In the next class, we're going to look at proofs of the rule of Pythagoras, and we're going to step back in time, and review some of the area formulas of figures, because I want to show you that one of the presidents of the United States came up with his own proof of why the rule of Pythagoras always works. So I'm going to be showing you that as well. So I appreciate you spending the time with me on these several videos. I think there were about 6 of them. And hopefully the next class won't be quite as long, but it might be, you don't know. So, all right, you take care. Also, be certain to either email me your test, virus quiz number 2, or send it to me via your phone, okay? All right, so don't forget to do that as well. And I will talk to you all on Thursday. You all take care until then, and we'll see you soon.